We will also mention a good morning to our guest today, a woman who has many titles, a former top 10 double star, a Tennis Channel commentator, and the newly minted president of the United States Tennis Association, Katrina Adams. That's a long business card that you have to have.
Yes, it is, but I'll just settle for one right now.
All right, well, congratulations, first of all, on your inauguration as the USTA president. You're the first former player to hold that job. I know a lot of players are happy that you've finally broken through and done that. Talk to me about what your goals are and why it's so important that a player hold this post.
Well, I think it's so exciting for me because having grown up through the sport from the juniors, played high school tennis, high school championships, college, and then the pros, I really understand every level of the game. And I think a lot of people really only see tennis on this level, on the Grand Slam level and the professional level. So I think with my experience coming up through the entire sport and experiencing everything, I have a lot to say in giving back.
What's the mandate? Give us some of your top-line agenda items you'd like to see pushed through during your administration.
Well, obviously, our mission is to promote and develop the growth of tennis, and hopefully I can do that in the U.S. by really putting together a Hispanic initiative and bringing more of the Hispanic population to the game. I think it's a group of people that we really haven't embraced fully within the sport. We've done an amazing job in diverse areas with the African-American community, as you can obviously see looking at the quarterfinals today and the history that we have there. But really it's another group that are athletes, and it's about going out and embracing them as a family more so than just trying to get one or two kids involved in the sport. What's
the latest on the construction project in New York? We know that the roof is underway at Arthur Ashe Stadium. There's got to be snow on it right now, but how far along are we here?
We're moving along. I mean, we're on pace as well as we can be with the weather conditions, obviously with the snowstorm, but this still is being erected to support the roof structure. It's not going to be on top of it. It's really building outside of it, as we've discussed in the past. But we are on target to have the first phase ready for the 2015 U.S. Open.
And there's another roof that's going to be next door on the new Armstrong. You'll be rivaling the 3 roofs they have here before too long, right?
Well, we're going to start construction on Grandstand next. So Louis Armstrong will be the final phase of the entire strategic vision out at the NTC.
You come down here, and this is a Grand Slam with a different context, different set of challenges than you have. But, you know, you come here, and we saw Nick Kyrgios last night. I mean, what are your takeaways when you come to this event? I mean, what are some lessons that you maybe keep in the back of your mind when you go back to New York?
Well, I think, you know, again, having been a player, I really have experienced all of the majors, and coming here always at the beginning of the year and seeing the progress that they've made here through Tennis Australia at the Australian Open, and you see all the energy around the young players. I mean, we've got the excitement with the young player of Madison Keys going on today. So you can always take away a lot of good things from each event you go to and try to really bring it back and make yours better.
Let's talk about Madison, and I want you to put your tennis analyst hat on here for a second. Are you surprised how quickly it's happened now for Madison and that she's broken through at this major?
You know, I don't really see it as quickly. I think she's really been progressing in the last couple of years, and when you talk about how she's so much more improved than she was a year ago, and you've seen her progress, and working with Lindsay, I think, has really kind of elevated her level of confidence to be able to go out there and put it all together, and then to go up against, you know, Venus, someone she's idolized over the years and looked up to go out and try to move into her first semifinal, I think is remarkable.
We've been talking tennis here all week, obviously. We all come at this from different angles. What do you like about the sport? I mean, people say, why should I play tennis? What do you tell them?
You know, for me, tennis is really about expressing yourself. It's really, you're in your own little office and you can go out where your personality truly shines, whether you have an aggressive mentality or a passive mentality. But it's a sport of a lifetime. It's about fitness. It's about not just physically, but mentally. And I think it's a sport that you can play for your entire life.
When you come down here, I know you meet with Craig Tiley and the Tennis Australia folks and the folks from the French Federation and the LTA and Wimbledon. I imagine you compare notes. I mean, it's cooperative. You guys help each other. It's not a competitive thing. It's a cooperative thing, right?
Well, we have what we call a Grand Slam board, and that's the 4 Grand Slams. We meet the U.S., obviously the French, Australian, and Wimbledon. And so we talk about matters that are really specific to Grand Slam events. and how we can work collaboratively in several ways, but still keep our independence as tournaments. So it's a great opportunity to really know what the other majors are doing, what they're doing well, and how we have the synergy amongst ourselves.
What are they doing in player development that maybe the USTA can learn from, because they've obviously got some young players that are succeeding right now? I know that's part of your background. Anything to learn here?
Well, I think it's really a matter of the personalities and in administration as well as with the players. And so for us right now, as you know, we're going through our interview process for a new GM for our player development, and it's been a process with a lot of interest from a lot of former players as well as college coaches, et cetera. So I think it's an opportunity for us to really start off on a new foot and a good foot here in 2015.
I thought you were going to break the news and tell us who was getting the gig. That's not
we don't have that
Exactly.
information yet.
I want to talk more about these roofs, because I think this could really change the feel of the U.S. Open. That's the effect it's had here with the new arena. When this construction project is finally finished, what do you feel like the U.S. Open is going to feel like?
Well, you know what? That remains to be seen. I think we're really excited about the opportunity of not having interrupted matches during the final weekend, in particular on Arthur Ashe. And, you know, it's really the way the world has been in the last few years, the last 10 years in particular with the weather. We used to never get rain during the U.S. Open, and then we had a succession of years where it was bad and impacted us to move to an unscheduled Monday final. But I think when we have the roof on Ashe and then we start our construction on Grandstand as well as Armstrong to have the 3 roofs, I think it is going to be amazing.
What's the hardest thing about putting on the U.S. Open in the most complicated city in the world that maybe Craig Tiley and these folks down here don't have to deal with?
Well, you know, Australia has been very fortunate. They get a lot of government support, a lot of government funding. I mean, when you look at this entire sports complex here in Melbourne, I mean, it's amazing the facilities that surround the Australian Open here in the Rod Laver Arena. When you look at the U.S. Open and you look at all of the other professional sports in the tri-state area, I think there's 8 major sports, and we're trying to compete in the same market for facilities and for marketing, et cetera. It's very challenging for New York, and the expectations are so much higher in New York City.
And just to check, just because you've become a big muckety-muck higher up in tennis, you're not going to ditch us at Tennis Channel, right?
Senior business card.
Tennis Channel's in my blood.
Okay. We appreciate that. And from all of us in your family, congratulations.
Thank you.
Katrina Adams, president of the USTA. We've got more to come. Jim